Dead. No, they're not dead, but they might die. Okay. Let's see. Let's see how long our volume lasts. I don't have my adapter to go from DVI to HDMI, so we can't send the display of this tragic little MacBook Air. We can't send it out to the stream. So we'll just have to look from the camera above at the display. I'll bring it back though for future reference. Welcome back again, OpenHours. Alright, let's go ahead. We don't need the power, I don't think, right now. Let's go ahead. And here is our problem. Before I go ruining people's nice aluminum computers, let's put down some protection. And we're going to start this little MacBook Air up and see what happens. This is the problem it came in with, and you may be faced with this problem. If so, here's a way to fix it, but we're going to take a look at some other stuff first. It will come on eventually. Maybe. You always gotta wait. Let me see if the display is actually on. It is on, so there we go. That's what we're faced with. We have this little folder flashing with a question mark on it, and it looks blue just because it's not. I promise you it's more of a white. It's just with the white balance of the camera. So your MacBook is sad. Your MacBook Air is sad, your MacBook Pro is sad. And what can you do? There's a few ways that you could go about exploring this. We're going to cover one possible way to see, and this is how you would go to check whether your system partition is intact. So let's go ahead, we're going to unplug it, we're going to hold the power button to shut it down. And it's now off. We've got to open this one back up. And pull all these screws. So let's keep an eye on the clock. So make sure, and I doubt we'll get this finished today, but we'll at least be on the right track. So, say you had data on the hard drive and you wanted to know, is my system partition intact? It's not booting. One way to check for the data, you're going to need an adapter if you plan on pulling the hard drive out, which we're going to. We're going to pull out this, I think it's a Samsung SSD. I know this adapter won't work for a Toshiba, I believe, but it'll work for the Samsung one. So if you don't have one of these screwdrivers, get one. Get an iFixit kit. Order a screwdriver special. It's a pentalobe screwdriver. The iFixit kit that we have here, I believe, comes with 3 different size pentalobe screwdrivers. It's kind of hard to read, but it's a wow, getting old. So much fun. A P2, a P5, and a P6 is what it looks like. So pentalobe 2, pentalobe 5, pentalobe 6, or P2, P5, P6. Also, we have another thing we're going to tear apart. And this was the easiest, most readily available adapter that did not cost an arm and a leg. So after you use your pentalobe driver to get that stuff out, you're also going to need a T5. You'll need a T5 to get your SSD out. Before you do anything, take and unplug your battery. And I don't know if this applies on Macs, but I do it anyway. I hit the power button to discharge anything from the system. I don't know if that, I'm guessing it's a computer like other laptops and desktops that can hold power. We'll take out the screw for our SSD. We're going to lift it. Now, the only adapter that I could find that would let us even begin to think about checking this adapter was one that slotted into a PCI Express slot on a board, and this one had to be modified at that because it was extra long, and you have your little PCI Express 1X slot right here in the way of the thing, so it had to be modified to fit in there. But you can safely take tin snips and cut in where you need cut in, and then take and score each side of the board away from all the components up here on this side, away from these components. You can score it and then break it with like vice grips, or break it with a set of pliers like channel locks or something after you score it. But I suggest cutting inward with tin snips to cut that if you want to get one of these and modify it. Proper way to do it, no, we could have bought a much more expensive adapter. I think they're like $89 or something, and it goes direct to USB 3 or C. This was a few bucks, and this will come in handy. Sadly, the way we had to go about checking the drive was this way. And we're going to be able to tell that our system partition is indeed not intact. Let's go ahead. We are going to bring our HDMI lead in for the stream. We'll get that, go ahead and get that plugged in. And then we need our 20+4. Let's see if we can turn this today to make it a little easier on the power supply. And these wires running everywhere. Before we power anything up, let's go ahead and slot our SSD in. And this is a 12+16 pin, so you may make the mistake of putting it in and it has kind of a stopping point right there where you got about half of your gold contacts showing. You kind of see that they're there, and you have the gold pins, and then you have the gold beyond that. Well, don't make the mistake of thinking that it stops, because it will actually snap in all the way, burying that gold for the most part. I have a little thing propping it up here so it doesn't sit direct on. I just extended the screw with a little piece of aluminum and then some 3M tape, but it's not setting right on the PCI Express slot. Not that that would matter. We need a few other things, and this computer is awfully slow, but it's okay. It is our test bench, and I actually want to get an SSD installed for said test bench doing stuff like this. Alright, we have now, granted, I know you may not have a test bench out there, but you could literally do it with any old PC. You don't have to have like anything current. Just anything that lets you interface with what it is you want to interface with. If you had perhaps a SATA add-in card, then you could have your SATA boot drive as an older motherboard, or whatever. It's about checking things out. Let's go ahead and put our 20-pin power cable here. We are also going to borrow a mouse and keyboard. We should be just about connected. So we've got our boot drive, we have our RAM, processor, fan, our SSD from the MacBook. We have our power supply. We need to plug in a few things here, namely the mouse and keyboard, and then we should be good to go on having control over a test bench. It is plugged into OBS. Let's go ahead and get a power lead. And there's our power lead. Alright. I'm going to plug in our power supply. We have that. This is simply just a little switch that I made. It's a momentary switch as you touch it, and it just has wires going out covered in heat shrink to a 2-prong power adapter. We'll put that on the jack for where the front switch for the computer case would go. And with that, we'll go ahead and power things up. This will take a moment. Spin, and starts up. There we go. Let's switch over to OBS. We'll go to this one to see if we can get the display. Wrong mouse. Cam link, why are you not active? You're fighting me the whole way. Okay. Let's hit deactivate again, activate. Okay, we are plugged into the proper HDMI. However, I usually run into issues with Alright, not gonna happen here. We'll have to... Boy. Oh, no, we're not plugged in, dummy. Okay, hold on. I didn't have the HDMI in. Look at that. Totally oversold. Yeah, there we go. And we're up. Okay, so we do have the test bench running, finally. We have this cluster of a computer that is really nothing. I gotta go back here. I do need to put a pin in once it comes up. Alright, we will do that. It should be logging us in. Yes. Alright, so here's our test bench coming up. I know, Windows isn't activated. Sue me. I'm a horrible person not having Windows activated. Let's go ahead and see. It takes a moment. Our old Samsung hard drive is, as very well described, old. So it takes a moment to get anything going. Alright, that's up. Now, I don't care about my people. Go away. We're going to open up HFS Plus for Windows, which is made by Paragon. It's cheap software. If you need to do any work ever where you're going to be interfacing with a Mac, a hard drive out of a Mac, whether it be an old hard drive, like a 2.5 inch conventional hard drive, a 2.5 inch SSD, or even a PCI, like an M.2 PCI Express SSD, you're going to want to buy HFS Plus by Paragon. It will let you mount and read and write to your Mac hard drive within Windows. Buy the program. I forget what it costs. This is the trial version on the test bench. I have the actual purchase version over here on my computer. I don't think it's running, but we do have our legit, or maybe it's not installed since the SSD. I do have a version that runs. It's either on this computer or the other one, I'm not sure. No, it was never installed after we did the M.2 upgrade. Unless it's on the, I can't remember, no, sorry, my mistake completely. It's on our all-in-one. That's where we do the Mac hard drives, usually with the other adapters that didn't work for this one. Too many computers, it gets confusing sometimes. Anyhow, we have it there, but as you can see, it's not seeing any partition on our drive, which that's what we'd expect with it not booting in the MacBook. Remember, we have the MacBook and it comes up with the question mark. So we can't access it there. So we just set this up really for nothing. We're going to go ahead and shut it down, sadly. If it finds a bootable or a mountable drive, it will pretty much mount it. There are a few options you can try, but it's just not there. And one further option, let's try this quick. We'll open up our device manager and we'll just see. I don't think it's even going to bring it up at that point. Alright, there's our device manager finally. Very slow over here, people, very slow. It's an old hard drive. Alright. And there it goes. I'm on the wrong mouse again. I need to be on the test bench. Let's look at our disk drives. As you can see, it's just detecting our is it a Samsung or a Seagate? Whichever. That's our 500 gig test bench drive. We're going to scan for hardware changes and see if it pulls anything up. No other drives there. That being said, we're going to shut it down. Alright, shut down. We'll tear our test bench down and on to fixing the sad Mac. As soon as this shuts down, we'll get everything out of the way. We'll pull our mouse and keyboard now. Get those out of our way. So that was to check for a system partition if there's any data there, which there's other ways to do it. If you have an adapter to interface directly with that SSD, as we do with some of our other ones, you can plug it right into a PC. You wouldn't need a test bench. However, with the adapter we got specifically for that style, this style SSD from I think 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17 MacBook Airs and MacBook Pros, that is what it will read some of those. I don't know about all, but some of them. So yeah, that's how it interfaces with a normal M.2 slot on like a motherboard or and we don't have an adapter to plug this in that has that normal slot, which would be very nice. Would be very, very nice at this point. Alright, get up there, HDMI, and let's get everything disconnected here. Our power is off. Alright, power stayed off, good. Alright, test bench is literally torn back down. Keep the parts handy because, believe it or not, this gets set up a lot more than anybody might think. Someday, not today, I would like to get one of those like open air, like a test bench, exactly how it sounds. Anybody that's not familiar with them, let's take a look at the LCD. And we'll go over here. Would love to get a case. One of these, any of them, any style, you know, find a cheaper alternative. That lets you turn on a hard drive, expansion cards will stand up and have a place to mount your motherboard, power supply, maybe even an optical drive and all that. Just to have that set up where when you need to do something similar to what we just did, you can just do it. Alright, moving on, back to the MacBook. So that, no system partition, it's not intact, it's not there. Otherwise, Paragon would have found it. The other partition is hidden, and I'm not sure if Paragon finds it or not. It's been a long, long time since I've had a Mac hard drive plugged into a PC to use Paragon. We do have it, we just don't use it that often. Same thing here, when you go to plug this in, you may think it's in, but you're not reaching the screw hole. Just press, and it will snap in and align with the screw hole there. We can go ahead and mount it back in place, get our battery plugged in. And at this point, I'm not sure, I know on Windows, if a hard drive has been formatted over, you can take and format a hard drive, format your Windows, your laptop drive, or your desktop, whatever, format it, reinstall Windows, and then run. There is software you can run that will scan and you can get most of your files back, depending on how old they were. You don't always get 100% of them back, but you can get some back. So let's get this back together. That way we can continue with getting it repaired. We will need to call and get some info from this client here, but as far as I can tell, there's no mountable partition on that SSD. And the drive was not a Toshiba, it was a Samsung drive, so it definitely works with that adapter. There's a special one that works with Toshibas. We don't have, like I said, for every style SSD, there's multiple adapters. Eventually, we'll have them all. Till we have the need, when we have the need, we order one, and then it pretty much pays for itself that first job, and then you got it for future ones. Which that's kind of a good way if you're going to do this for yourself. Do it for friends, you know what I mean? Or even if you're an aspiring business person type out there gonna go into business and do this. That would be a way to do it. When you save, get ahead, start buying other equipment that you know you're gonna need. Of course, I'm not a businessman, so I don't know nothing about it. The business side, I don't do books. Don't do none of that. That's definitely not my wheelhouse. Alright, screws are in. Did we? Yeah, we left one behind. Alright, let's go ahead. Put that guy in there. Now. All in. back to our question mark. Now's where you need to be worried, because if this next stage is not fruitful, meaning good results, that's where you... Did we not plug that battery in? Let's check quick. I'm in a hurry here. Please excuse me. Trying to get to two things in one video, and it would be three with the test bench thing, even though it was part of this repair. Luckily, these come out fairly quick. I don't think, I'm going to call it right now, I'm pretty sure. I can't really, I guess I could watch the video back while we're doing the live broadcast. I do have DVR mode enabled, if anybody's ever wondered about that. It is enabled, so you can rewind. But I'm fairly certain that no battery was plugged in. So we'll go ahead. Once we get this going, I will put the bottom back on and put the screws in. We're going to lay it on the LCD lid to start it, so you can see what we're doing. What do you want, phone? And I didn't plug the battery back in. Alright. There we are. Yeah, what the heck, we'll put the two long ones in, and then two on the corners, and we'll work on the other ones. In a moment. Alright, 1 and 2 in the front corners. Alright, let's get this thing started up. The battery is in now. What you're going to want to do, you can see the screen there. I'm going to set it up here in a moment. But what you will want to do is you're going to power it on. So let's get it plugged in. Even though the battery's in, we'll just turn it on. You're going to wait for your chime if you get it. You should, hopefully. And then perhaps hit Command R. Starting internet recovery. This may take a while. So Command R will get you into your recovery environment. Option R may get you there as well. I'm not sure. Not entirely sure on that one. But now we're at the point where we need to choose a network. Let's do that. We'll go to our 5 gigahertz network here at the shop. Type in our password, hit the check mark, and let it get connected. And while that's doing its thing, we're going to go ahead and put the rest of these screws in. And this takes a little bit. Usually the general rule of thumb, and I don't want to say this applies in every situation because there are faults that could happen with the logic board, with the SSD, but a good, fairly safe rule of thumb where you're not, there is room for error mistakes, but generally no. This is a good indicator. Not 100% perfect, but a good indicator. That if you can get to where this is going to be in a few moments, that your hard drive is salvageable, savable, you'll have your computer up and running in a short time. Usually, not always. So let's explore this route. While this is doing what it's doing, we're going to hop on to the next thing as soon as I put these other two screws in. Our fan is not coming on Friday. It will be here Monday, allegedly. So our HP 23-G010 all-in-one computer will be waiting. This can go over off to the side right now. We'll keep it kind of in view so we can see when it needs our attention again. And you can see what's going on, that we're not doing anything with it. For right now, we need to get this over in our face. Let's get our cushion set up. I want to get some matching ones, or one big all black one. Alright, we have, this is our Dell. Usually these things are easy to pull apart, but I don't see that being the case here. I see this one being a nightmare, unless it opens on the front. But this is, we need to look it up. This one is, boy, how are we going to get an accurate representation of this thing? Do we have the service tag? We do. Okay. We have our service tag, so we can still get an accurate model and an accurate service manual. So let's head on over to support.dell.com. We want product support. Let's try this. Enter a Dell service tag. So we're going to go right here. Our service tag 4V 38KK1 38KK1, if I'm not mistaken. Correct. Detect the PC. Inspire 119. Let's go for manuals and documents. Service manual. Let's get the PDF up and we're going to see how you crack into this thing. Okay, so removing the decorative cover. Before you begin, it'll probably take us right to that. What are those? What are they talking about? So, okay. Okay, so basically what they're saying is there's little tabs on each side that lets this, should let it, our decorative cover pop out. Let's unlock that one, there we go. And then we can gain access to part of this computer. Very good. In the meantime, we'll set this off to the side as we're doing multiple things. I want to get this going. Now remember, this had booted with the question mark. First thing we're going to want to do is go to Disk Utility. You click on it to highlight it and then go to Continue. There's that. And we can see that we have an untitled partition, which means there is no partition there. We have this one. We're going to highlight our whole drive. We're going to go to Partition, Current, or Partition where it says Current. Click the arrows and select one partition. We will give it a name. Let's title this one Mac HD. You want to set it for Mac OS Extended Journaled. You can check your options just below the partition type. GUID partition table is what you're going to want there. And then go ahead and hit apply. partition, it's going to format it, like erase it and format it with the name that you selected. And now you can close your disk utility and go to reinstall OS 10. Continue. Now you could try and reinstall OS 10 without going to disk utility, but you may run into issues. Wow, that looks absolutely horrible. You may run into issues in this next spot because it's going to ask you where you want to install OS 10 to. Now, if you went to disk utility and you can't format your if you can't partition your hard drive or erase it or format it, whatever you want to call it, that's a good indicator that it's no-go. If you can, select a new partition, select the whole drive, partition it as one partition, or however you want. If you want multiple partitions, one for the OS, another one to store your data permanently. Okay, but when you get to the install OS 10 this page, you will have your Mac hard drive that you formatted a few steps earlier. Go ahead and click install and set it to the side and let it go. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to set it over here and let it continue on its little journey to being great again. Okay, back to our all-in-wonder. Our all-in-wonder Dell. It's amazing, isn't it? I like it. You should like it. Who wouldn't like it? Alright, so with our front panel off, removing the back cover, okay, let's go to this before you begin. Recommended tools, turning off your computer. Okay, the computer's off. Safety instructions. Camera, removing the What? What are they even talking about? Alright. Let's go back up. We're not even to that part yet. We need... Alright, there's our decorative cover coming off. Now there is supposed to be a screw back there. Removing the back cover. Follow procedures and before you begin, remove the I/O cover. Remove the computer stand. See, removing this computer stand. Remove the optical drive. Remove the decorative cover. Wow. Okay. I guess so. Screw holes. This is insane. Okay, so they just don't have a straightforward teardown in this manual. They got you jumping all over like a big HP plotter. That one has you hopping all over the place just to uninstall some stuff. Our little Mac is chugging along, doing its deal. Let's go ahead and pull our somebody got it. Somebody got my tools. They're gone. Oh, just kidding. It's right here. All right, let's try and pop this back panel out at this point. And our prior broke. Okay, let's go with the metal one. Can we get anywhere with it? I don't want to snap this thing, but I guess. Oh no, we got lucky. Alright. Completely useless. I see no screw there. Boy, that is right under the stand. Scrolling down, I see where they say doing that. Before you get removing the I/O cover, let's go there. Well, I see how that comes off, but is that the stand? Lift the computer stand to access the I/O cover using fingers. Press the two securing clips at the bottom and lift the I/O cover to release the latches, the slots. Pull the I/O cover out of the computer. Okay. So two latches, you press them to release and lift it out. There we go. We're getting in this Dell. Now we're going to go ahead and pull our stand off. We don't need that. We need our Phillips. About 2 hours and 48 minutes remaining on the Mac. I guarantee you it's not going to take that long. It's counting down fairly quickly, but we may not get it done today. It happens.
Yeah.
You're live on the air.
It's okay. You just wouldn't drive that car over 40.
That's like some people don't.
It took them that much, like half a mile down the road on 53 just to get that much speed up.
Right, but you gotta understand, man, he's in charge of keeping kids safe.
He's driving his car.
But it's a habit. It's a habit. Any other, you know what I mean? Alright, we're back here. Let's try and remove these. So far we've pulled two entirely different screws from each other out. And so I think what happened is somebody put them in the wrong spot. We're going to go ahead and we got to pick up on this stand as we pull it out. I think, yep, there we go. Somebody put them into the wrong spot. And there's our stand out of the way. The screw's not even in for the back cover, so let's continue. What is that? I want... Wow, this skipped me the whole way through the manual. We're just trying to open this thing up. Alright. Placing the speaker cover. Sticker to cover hard drive. Remove the I/O cover, removing the computer stand, removing the optical drive. So, this thing was not even put back together entirely from the last time it was serviced, according to, because there was no screw holding this optical drive in. So I wonder how many other screws are missing. It didn't have the one for the back cover, nor the one for the optical drive, but it does need cleaned out. So we're going to go ahead and work on getting it open to clean the fan out. Optical drive, there's that. That comes out. You begin replacing the computer stand. And we want to remove the back cover. So we have to do the speaker cover and the display bezel before we can continue on, which requires flipping this over. We'll pull these few screws out. 2 hours, 17 minutes. So it is going faster. screw missing there or just one? Who knows? Whenever this got serviced originally, everything was not put back. So there's that cover out of the way. And no screw goes in there, I'm guessing? Nope, no screw. Is it a pull down? I'll tell you what, it does unlatch fairly easy. I wonder if this whole thing comes apart from the front. How great's that not going to be? Alright, removing the speaker cover, removing the display bezel. We did that. Now, let's see, that's not the display. We should be able to flip this over. If I'm right, that monitor's held in there. We should be able to go to the edge and pull the back cover, I hope. Oh. This is a fairly complex teardown for cleaning the fan, the heatsink, heatsink, and applying new thermal paste. This thing is running, although it's running super hot. Like, burnt. See you later. Oh, you're coming back in here? I thought you were saying see you later to me. Dude, this is a pretty crazy teardown. You're missing stuff. Okay, so we pull those and then what? Well,
You get that out?
moving the display bezel. This PDF is so convoluted, it keeps linking you all over the place. I want to remove the back cover. So I'm trying to follow that rabbit hole. Removing the optical drive, removing the computer I/O cover, removing the speaker cover, display bezel, replacing the back cover, turning off your computer. Let's keep going. We need to find more links. Will our back cover come off now? Let's flip it over and find out. Actually, we'll stand it up and see. Maybe? Are we that lucky? Perhaps. What do we have to pull off on that side to get it out of there? I still think we missed. Nope. Okay, back cover off. We may actually get this cleaned out today. Look at this setup. Come look at this, Dave. This is insane. Look at the dust in this. We're completely clogged with dust here. Completely clogged. Yeah. We have dual fans.
Nice.
Hey, you think we'll take one of these and put it in the other one?
It looks like the right one.
No, it's too small and too thick.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna get that cleaned out and get that cleaned out. Right now, we need access to those. I'm just guessing 2 screws and they're out, but where are their wires? Buried somewhere where we're probably not going to get to them. Just a guess here, we need to pull this metal cover. And pulling that is going to require some doing. This whole build is some doing. But we couldn't let it go back out. It's not able to breathe. Would you like it if you couldn't breathe? Seriously? No. So we're gonna get it breathing good again. Alright, let's check our happy Mac. Something happened over here. Alright, so 2 hours and 39 minutes. It's back up in time. Like I said, I don't think it's gonna finish while we're on the stream today. It would have been nice, but not on the agenda. Would be super amazing, yeah, like I thought. There's a wire holding it hostage, and the other wire is holding this one hostage there, but we are, just to show you, wow, where do you go? Is there an easy way to unplug you? Those fans go forward. Wow. Look at these fan wires. This is insane. They go down under the heatsink. So in here, they come up out from the heatsink, through here, over here, in under this metal cover, and plug in.
That's when copper wire was cheap.
Yeah, I know, right? Copper was probably a different price about that point in time. So we got to go deep with this thing. We still have time? We do indeed. 429. Let's remove this I/O shield if we can. I'm going to set all the screws for it in one place. I have a feeling it's not going to be easy. Oh, how awesome if I could just move it out of the way like that, and that would be okay. So we have a screw there, one there, and that really holds that together. That's preventing us from lifting our fans. Alright, metal cover is loose, sort of. Not enough. Oh, I forgot a screw. We got one screw on the corner. It's fighting us the whole way. And then our metal cover should flip out of the way. 2 hours and 40 minutes. So this Mac is counting up. Well, it counted down, then it counted back up. Alright, there's the cover for that. But what I'm questioning is, can we get to the fans yet? Kinda, sorta. Let's go ahead and pull that out, if possible. This wire is binding us right now. Alright, we got it out. It goes there. Okay. Thereby, and we have another fan right here that needs unplugged and pulled and cleaned out from the system. We have to remove it. Yeah. Alright. We've got to go deeper. We have to actually unplug the display and stuff that goes with it. So this is going to be continued on tomorrow's stream. Doing the day job tonight. So these are your high voltage wires for your LCD panel. What power the cathode, or what are they? What are those little white bulbs? Cold cathode? Are they cold cathode bulbs? The little skinny bulbs that light up old displays? I think that's cold cathode, right? I'm not sure. I think. Alright. Here's our other fan. We're going to pull that to have it cleaned. It is fanned up, and it is an extensive... I can see why some of the screws were left out. When we build this back up, we're going to find screws. They may not be the factory ones, but they will be the same thread, and we'll put them back in to hold it together. So there's one fan. We'll clean that area, clean this fan. I can understand why there's screws missing. Very easy to not put them back in where they belong. Alright, so here is our fans. The wires for our dual cooling fans in the system. And that's going to let one come loose. The other one should follow along. And however, not easily. What a nightmare. Okay, let's stand it up, and we have to go one then the other. By all means, you know what? We're not even trying to finish this today, so we're gonna do it the right way. Let's pull the heat sink. That's the general hold up now. What's making the fans tough. We'll go ahead and remove it. You have to be careful of the little silicone cooling pads that may be on some of the MOSFETs by the CPU, or the coils, whatever they happen to place by the CPU. That is on there. Let's check out our thermal compound and see what it looks like. Oh, still attached. Couple final threads. Alright. Oh yeah, completely dry. Massive air gaps. I know it's hard to see. I like to try and hold it up close, but the focus just doesn't work. That's clogged. You should, I'll show you how clogged. You can see the light through it, but that's actually how bright it is, and that's how much it's getting dimmed by all that dust in there. The thermal compound, it's not even, it barely brushes off on my glove when I rub it. It's dry. Yeah, completely crumbles. And that's what we're in here to do. Clean the fans, clean the heat sink, and new thermal compound. That is, I don't know, what socket is that? Is that a 775? Let's find out what this processor is. I know it's a Pentium something or other. So probably a socket 775 Pentium. Okay, so it is 4:35. We're going to take a peek at this CPU. We definitely don't have time to get back into any of this today and get it done, but we'll continue this tomorrow and make this one great again, and you'll see the resolution on this one. As of right now, it is installing Mac OS again. I'm just going to flip this up and take a peek. That is, yeah, it's socket 775, I believe. So an older Intel. Oh, did the processor move? No, just the tray didn't come back down. There it goes. So that'll all need cleaned out. Our fans will need cleaned out. But now that the heat sink's out of the way, that was much easier to pull out through the hole that was blocked by the heat sink. There is the condition of our fans. Again, our heat sink is fairly clean on the outtake side, the side where the air the air comes out through. So it's blown through in. Oh, sets there like that, sets here like this, blows this way, all clogged up. This is the side, the output from the airflow. Fairly clean there, fairly clogged up there. We'll take a look at that. There's that. There's the fans. That's tomorrow's job, to get this thing running a lot cooler. And let's not forget our third little fan. We had this guy hiding in the back cover. Just, I don't know what he's doing, just in there for blowing hot air. Who knows? But that's that. Tune back in again tomorrow. We'll have the resolution of the Mac. Will it make it? Will it survive? Is the hard drive going to be good? We'll find out tomorrow. We'll get this cool. Thank you for watching. It's time to go to the day job. Have a good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. It's one of those. Go fix something. Help somebody else fix something. and share it out. Let's get some more people here and have conversations. Thank you for watching.